Honest J Nowak. Oh yeah.
A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to HJN. And now here for today on HJN, I feel like there's a lot more branching out that I could possibly deal with at this point. But I will say for sure that I'm going to have a lot more to talk about here on HJN. Topics are coming in all over the place, whether they're things I jot down on my lists or if they're just requests that I'm getting from certain people out there. I have actually met up with a lot of people lately, in person though. And some of them have actually been getting me some pretty likely requests that I will do at some other time. But for now, I've got a lot of others on the list that I basically have jotted down the last few months. This one in particular is known as countertops. Kind of cheesy and probably a little too simplistic for my own taste when it comes to describing a certain topic or anything that I have on my mind in general, but I feel like countertops is something I might as well talk about because there's a lot that I might as well talk about here at this point. Countertops in general, there are a lot of different ways I could probably put it together, but what I will say is that here in this building that I'm currently occupying here at the moment, the countertops I'm currently using to basically chop up vegetables or simply to put stuff in when I don't have any other place for them, they are quite old for what they are. As far to my knowledge, and from what I understand about this whole place in general, it was built more than 50 years ago. So that kind of makes sense from a perspective viewpoint on how certain pieces of this house itself are kind of delicate. So, yeah, this is in fact real wood right here. I'm kind of lucky at this point that I'm not really getting any splinters from them, but in general, I could say for sure that the countertops themselves that I do technically use all the time, they can in fact get ruined quite easily. There have been times to where I've been using air fryers and a few other things in mind, and sometimes the liquids that kind of come out from them tend to splatter all over the place. And there's times to which that they can kind of act like dyes and sort of yellow out the white on the countertops themselves. They're pretty much just a little coating of, I guess, plastic of some sorts, but it kind of just dyes it to make it look more yellowish, which is really disappointing actually. But in general, the kitchen area itself, in terms of its countertops, they're pretty versatile for what they are. And of course, they're one of a kind. They're pretty darn old for what they are, but wow, they sure have aged decently. But in general, countertops do happen to come in many different other styles and are usually composed of other things like granite tops or basically some other types of stone tops, complete with a little smooth glaze of some sorts. Basically prevents the rugged texture from any sorts from ruining your fingers or something while you're using the countertops for any reason whatsoever. But in general, the countertop itself has a lot of different other uses in particular, but they're as basic as they can be. They're just large slabs or whatever material in the lake, usually situated in the kitchen, and there are times where they can sometimes be out of the kitchen, but in general, they're generally just considered part of a kitchen of any sorts, regardless of what house it is that you live in, or if you're in an apartment setting. Then they're pretty much right up your alley when it comes to preparing food or setting away items, or sometimes other things as well can possibly also come into play, but the countertop has plenty of uses for what they are. I guess that's a pretty good way to talk about them. And in general, I could pretty much concede that with all the other topics that I have to talk about, the next one that I'm going to be talking about tomorrow is going to be pretty big. And I mean big. Lots of things I'm going to have to talk about when it comes to this topic in general. Tomorrow, though, on HGN. But if you want to see more of that on my channel, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.